Render, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man. How about you?
Pretty good.
So I see you out here doing your thing, man. What do you got going on? You got music?
Music. Currently music. I'm focusing on music right now. And doing these interviews, getting this exposure up. You know what I'm saying? As you know, I just got out, so all exposure, it's good exposure.
Okay. And where'd you get the passion for rapping from? You were locked up, I believe, 10 years?
10 years.
10 years. Okay, so were you rapping before you went to prison?
Yeah, I actually was messing with a producer out of Beverly Hills right before I got busted, Sean Dillard, and meeting up with him in Beverly Hills, having little meetings at the Four Seat, just crazy things I've never done before. And I had one foot in, one foot out with music and the gang, and got caught up. Ended up doing the stretch, but yeah, I've been rapping for a while. I've been doing it for probably since 16, so I was 16.
Okay, well let's get into your whole story and everything that you got going on, man. For people who don't know, where'd you grow up and what was it like for you growing up?
Okay. So I grew up on the east side of Compton, Long Beach and Alondra. That's pretty much my little stomping area. Compton, California.
Okay, now what was it like for you growing up?
It was cool. People get the misconception that Compton is just drama, and it is that. Don't get it mistook, but man, it was cool. I loved growing up in Compton. That's my city. I loved it. Went to school out there. Everything, it was Compton. Close knit community. All my uncles, my dad, my whole family, they're from Compton. So it's cool. I mean, as I grew up and got into the gang stuff, is kind of when it started to escalate to the drama and the spunkiness that I was referring to. Once I joined the neighborhood, that's when things got a little hectic.
Okay, now, what are some of your early memories? What was Compton like way back then?
Compton for me growing up way back
Before the
when,
streets.
before the
Before you got in the
streets,
streets.
man, I love skateboarding. I love
Okay.
skateboarding, painting, graffiti. I loved graffiti. You know what I'm saying? That's really my first passions. Skating and graffiti, my first passions that I fell in love with. So before that, man, it was beautiful. You don't have enemies, so you can go throughout Compton not worrying about every other street. You're in a different hood. So I don't got to worry about being on the west side. I don't got to worry about being on a certain section of the east side. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool wherever I go. So it was cool. Before the streets, the hood stuff, yeah, it was cool.
Okay. What schools did you go to?
So I went to Dominguez for high school, right? Emerson, uh, yeah, those were my two schools, Emerson and Dominguez High School. I didn't last too long right there, but from Dominguez, I got kicked out of the Compton Unified School District. The city right next to me is Paramount. So from Compton, I used a address of my relatives, and I went to school in Paramount for a little bit. I got kicked out of there too. From there, I went to school in Whittier for a little bit, and for the most part, Juvenile Hall I've been in and out too. So I was always leaving school basically and spending months absent due to Juvenile Hall. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of my schooling came from camp, Los Padrinos, and camp, the different camps that I attended.
How did you end up in the streets? Where that just Compton, the streets?
Yeah, now my family's from my neighborhood, so it's always been a part of my life. My pops, my uncles, you know what I'm saying? All my older homeboys, they were always at my crib. So I grew up around it. I always knew it. I was always real knowledgeable about the streets from a young age due to my pops and everyone that I surrounded myself with, which was my dad's homeboys. So I've always had a passion. I always knew if I was gonna be from anywhere, it was gonna be from my father's neighborhood. So when the time was right, I got jumped in the neighborhood and joined the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And it was
So how did all that happen?
basically I always, when you have somebody from your neighborhood, whether your dad, your brother, your uncles, or whatever, before you're from that neighborhood, it's a good chance you were claiming that neighborhood. So when I would go to juvenile hall before I was from the neighborhood, I would always claim the neighborhood when I went into juvenile hall. It wasn't until I got out and got serious and the homies like, hey, why don't you come through and hang out? And I was around 14, you know. My first trips to juvenile hall was 13, 14. That was around 14, you know. Like I said, I knew all the homies. I knew where everyone kicked it, different cliques, the streets, all that. So it was just a matter of me not being afraid of my pops, seeing me in the neighborhood, whooping my ass, you know what I'm saying, and going to get jumped in. That all started, I guess it all came to light. I never let my dad or my mom or my sisters know my street life or what things that I did on the streets. So basically one day I get caught tagging in school. They took pictures of the graffiti, sent it to my mom. My mom sees it, sees what I'm writing, shows my dad. My dad sees it and basically tries to do the father type thing. Even though he's from the neighborhood, he loves the neighborhood, tries to do the right thing and scare it out of me, basically. Took me to the neighborhood, got me in the car, and we're driving to the hood, and he's telling me, if you're writing this, you're going to get jumped in and put in the same way I got put on, the way your uncles got put on, the way we all got put on. So you're going to get jumped in. Are you ready for that? You want that? And I don't know. My dad never seen that side of me. So I don't know if he thought it was going to scare it out of me to be like, all right, Pops, I'm cool. I'm not going to write it no more. Or this isn't the life for me. But it kind of only greased the wheels for me to where I'm like, okay, if you're accepting me, then cool. I'm 100% with it. So on that ride that was supposed to deter me away from the neighborhood, he basically, without him knowing, you know, gave me the okay that, all right, you're okay with it. Even though he wasn't, you know, but in my childish mentality, I took it as that. So as soon as we got there, as soon as the first dudes I seen lining up, as he's gathering them up, the individuals my age, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. So like I said in the previous interview with other dude, you know what I'm saying? Basically, I threw on my favorite cut and jumped out the car and got it cracking. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, when it's a 3-on-1, you're gonna get lumped up. So on the car ride home was probably the most awkward between me and my father, because it's like, what do you say? You know, you kind of lined it up for me, as far as, all right, you want to write it, you're gonna come, you're gonna get put on, etc., thinking that it's gonna deter me, and I ended up taking it as you're kind of, you know, giving me the okay. And from there on, you know, ever since then, my dad was like, look, I know what just transpired. Your mom can't know about it. You know what I'm saying? And two, what I just told you, that's between me and you as a man, you know? And to this day, I've always kept that between me and my dad, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, basically, he told me, don't let me catch you in the neighborhood. I know what you did, but that's still not okay. But in the eyes of my homies, they're like, it's good, you know? You got yours. So when I would hang out, they would just say, out of respect for your pops, when he pulls up, before he pulls up, you got to go. Because he's going to trip on us, you know what I'm saying? So out of respect, whenever my dad was pulling up, out of respect for my homies and my dad, I'll hit the cut. If I didn't leave, I'll hit the cut and hide out until my dad left, you know? Finish doing what he was doing. And yeah, for the most part, that's how it was, you know? It wasn't until I hit around 16, 17 that I kind of just said, fuck it. Like, he already heard little stories about me. And I just said, fuck it, you know, he's going to see me in the hood eventually. So, yeah, eventually he started seeing me, and obviously he didn't like it. But he kind of became more accepting of it and just told me, look, if you're going to do this shit, be smart. Not everyone's your homie. Not everyone's your friend. Matter of fact, a lot of them ain't. So just be mindful of that. And whatever you do, do by yourself. Or if you don't tell me, don't tell anyone else. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of just gave me a leg up in it. Like, be smart. Be street smart. Don't be stupid. If you got an issue that's something that's a true issue, bring it to me. And if you can't bring it to me, go handle it alone. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it all got kicked off and got a little hectic, you know, from there.
What happened when your mom eventually found out?
She did, my mom was like a devout Christian growing up, like Christian to the core. So like I said, I never brought my street life home. You know what I'm saying? And out of respect, my homies never came directly to my home because of my dad. You know what I'm saying? And basically, she tried everything, you know. She did what she can as a mom, but she had 8 of us, you know. It was 4 boys, 4 girls, including me. And my mama was pretty much doing it by herself after my dad and her split. So out of respect for her, you know, she told me I can't have, when she did find out I went to juvenile hall on my case, they let her know, well, she heard all the details of it in court. And once I got out, she was just like, you know, I can't have you around the other kids corrupting them, so you're on your own, you know. So I packed up my stuff around late 14, about to be 15, and basically I was floating around from homie to homie's house. You know, I'll go to one homie's house, he'll let me crash in the garage. I'll go to another homie's house, he'll let me crash here or there, you know. My homie Chewy really did a lot for me growing up, being on the streets, you know. But yeah, I had to figure it out, basically go house to house, and that was the life I had chose at the time. And being young and ignorant to the decisions I was making, I just ran with it, you know, and took the good with the bad and rolled with the punches, and tried my best to understand my mom's position as a woman raising 8 kids by herself, and not needing the extra static that I was bringing with juvenile hall and all the cases I was catching, getting kicked out of school, and you know what I'm saying, those type of things. So from then on, I was on my own, you know.
None of your other brothers or sisters got involved in the streets?
Nah, my little brothers, YG, Flacco, J Stacks, they know my homeboys, you know. My homeboys love them, respect them, and they love my homeboys and respect them. But out of respect, you know, that was the line that was drawn, like at them, you know. And we kept them away from that, you know what I'm saying? They love it. They pay respect to the homies and all that, and they'll let it be known what they represent, you know. But as far as being like devoted gang, nah, it ain't like that. They're just, you know, they're on some player shit. They're doing their own shit.
And you get arrested early, young.
Right.
You know, can you talk about what you got arrested for?
Yeah, the first time I got arrested was actually for graffiti. So like I said, I used to love graffiti. And the second time was a burglary. The third time was a gun. So yeah, that's when I did my little camp programs. My second time and my third time in juvenile hall, I did my camp programs. Basically, you got juvenile hall and you got camp. Basically, juvenile hall would be the equivalent of county jail. You're fighting your case. Once you take your time for your case, you go upstate. So basically, upstate for juveniles before YA was camp. So the camps I was in was Camp Munns, that's in like Lancaster area, and Challenger, and Challenger's in like Lancaster area too, you know.
Okay, and what is juvenile hall like for you?
Juvenile hall, when I first went, I wasn't officially from the hood, so it was whatever, you know. It was cool. My second time, I was already from the hood, so it was cracking. In juvenile hall, there's no Southside and we unite. It's none of that. It's you're fighting everybody that you beef with on the street, and the blacks, the blacks and the Mexicans, they fight too. If your hood's beef on the street, you're fighting. There's no politics. It's everyone for themselves. All you got is your homies if you're lucky enough and fortunate enough to land in a unit where you got a few homeboys. If not, you're gonna line it up. You're gonna learn how to fight real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, where I'm from, we don't get along with anybody, you know. Everybody around us, we beef with. And that includes all the black hoods in Compton, all the power rules, all the cribs. You know what I'm saying? And it was rough, you know. It was rough, but in a way it was fun because I was a kid, you know. And I was wilding out, you know. So in a way it was cool. But in a way it wasn't cool when you land in that unit and you got four fades waiting for you, you know what I'm saying? And the staff will literally come up to your cell and let you know you're from Compton, 7-0. You got 4 enemies right here. You got 2 enemies right here. You got 1 enemy right here. I'm going to pop the doors. You guys get it out the way. Don't fight in my day room. And you get it out the way, you know. Depending how deep the beef was, you know, every chance you get, you line it up. You guys go at it, you know what I'm saying? And so it got hectic. A lot of time in the hole and a lot of refiled in camp due to fighting, you know. Once you go to camp and you go live, they call it going live. Usually in juvenile hall, to avoid getting caught, we lock legs, which is basically you'll sit on your butt, I'll sit on my butt. We'll put our legs forward. I'll get one leg of yours, put it on top of mine. I'll put one of my legs on top of yours. It's called locking legs. And you go at it to where you guys are both within range, and you don't ain't no backing up or going. You guys are just going at it. May the best man win. You know what I'm saying? And the person who goes flat, it's called flatbacks. Whoever goes flatback first and goes back because he can't take the hits, you lose. And they call going live when you jump up and say, fuck locking legs, and just take off. Who cares who sees, what staff sees or whatever. You just go live. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
What like, man? Like, what was like your worst fights? In there.
My worst fight to this day, I remember because I ended up seeing the dude in prison years later. My worst fight was with some dude from Ludus Park, Peru. He went by Big Mo. And he was a big dude. His name was Big Mo. He was a big dude. Me, I'm a little dude. You know what I'm saying? And I was even smaller and scrawnier back then in juvenile hall. So I already knew he was there. Like I said, the staff will let you know, or the porters will come by and let you know you got some enemies right here, or wherever. Basically, they'll come to your door. Where you from? All right, cool. And they'll go to every other door. Homeboy right here from Compton. He's from Seven O's. You guys, you need that? Anybody, and they'll line up the head ups for you, and you go handle it at any time it's possible. You know what I'm saying? So I knew he was there. He knew I was there. He knew what I looked like before I knew what he looked like. But based on the description everyone was giving me of him, he was a big dude. So I remember we fought in school and we both sat in the corner. So when we went live in school, my teacher's like a 80-year-old white dude, bro, fragile. I don't even know what he's doing still working. And he's in no way, shape, or form going to stop the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's another day in the park for him. So he just gets up, walks out the classroom, and lets the staff know what's going on. And I don't know what it was, but the staff, it seems like we were fighting for a minute. And being that he was tall and big, I was doing my thing. But, versus a little dude, he got the best of me, you know what I'm saying? And I was hot. When we came out the hole, I told him any chance we get, I need that, you know what I'm saying? But I seen him years down the line in prison, and it's crazy because he remembered me before I remembered him. And he's like, you remember? He's like, you got heart. He's like, I like you. I fuck with you, I seen him years down the line and shit. And it's crazy because I got out of prison and they told me he died shortly later, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was probably the most hectic. I also got packed out in camp. I got packed out by the neighborhood Crips. I don't even beef with the neighborhood Crips. They're in South Central in LA, I'm in Compton. We're not far, but we're not close enough to be enemies, you know what I'm saying? And they heard your hood presses CKB, CKPKBK. Yeah. Okay, we need that because they're Crips. And of course, that's gonna happen a lot when your neighborhood presses CK or PK, where you go. Doesn't matter if they're from your area or another vicinity. They're Parus, so they're going to need that if they're righteous Parus. Or if they're righteous Crips, they're going to feel disrespected, and they're going to need that. Same way a Sureño would if a black or a Crip or a Paru says they're SK. You know what I'm saying? You're going to feel the same way if you're a righteous Sureño, and you're going to get your money. So, yeah, that's what it was. So, aside from Big Mo, the one-on-one, getting packed out, I was supposed to get lined up, which means you run your fades. Whoever comes in first, you fight him. You get a little breather. Whoever comes in second, you fight him. Whoever comes in third, you fight him. It's called lining it up. So I was supposed to get lined up. I was supposed to get fair ones from each and every one of them. I ended up getting packed out in the restroom by 3 of them. So that one was pretty bad too. And it started a lot of repercussions because the other Hispanic hoods there, even though it's kind of like every man for themselves, everyone felt played that I was a Southsider and got jumped by a bunch of Crips. So it ignited a bunch of shit that the facility ended up putting on me. Like I was orchestrating it, but people were just acting off how they feel. You know what I'm saying? Same way the Crips would feel if a Crip got jumped, and same way the Pyrus would feel if a Pyru got jumped by a bunch of Southsiders. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, those two were probably the worst that I can remember as far as being in juvenile hall and camp and all that.
Now you mentioned high school.
Right.
Dominguez High, what's that like for you?
Man, Dominguez was cracking. Dominguez was cool. Dominguez was kind of where I started getting my feet wet in life. High school was where it was at. Your homeboys are there. You're a kid, you're a teenager. You got hoochies everywhere, you know. And it was cool, you know. You mingle with everybody. Compton is about 60% Mexican, 40% black. You know what I'm saying? And they're everywhere. You're gonna grow up with blacks on your block, or you're gonna grow up with Mexicans on your block. Some blacks join Mexican hoods because they grew up in that territory, and vice versa for blacks. You know what I'm saying? So I had black homies growing up too. You know what I'm saying? From my neighborhood, kicked it with us, hung out with us, did their best to speak Spanish with us, and you know they were just as much as a homeboy as my Mexican homie was to me. You know what I'm saying? They were family. So growing up in Dominguez, you know, where we intermingled with other blacks too, or other dudes growing from different sections, and it was cool. You know, you see somebody you don't get along with, you line it up in the restroom. You know what I'm saying? Just being in high school, period, at Dominguez, the dances, football games, everything about it was just, it was cool. You know, it was short lived. I only lasted about a year there, but during that year it was cool. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed Dominguez High.
And you ended up getting kicked out.
Right.
What
Too
happened?
many fights, bro. Too many fights back to back. Being that that school is in the east side of Compton, you got everyone on the east side there. You got Parus, you got a few Crips. You know what I'm saying? Different hoods, different Mexican hoods also, and homeboys from dudes from the flats, from the tres, just everywhere. And we don't get along with nobody in Compton. So you're getting it in with them too. You're getting it in with them and also the other races too, you know. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, Dominguez was the shit. You know, it was fun. It was diverse, and it was cool. You know, it was a bunch of different cultures just mixed up at one school. It was ghetto fabulous, but it was cool.
Damn. Okay. Now you get kicked out.
Right.
You're in and out of juvenile hall. Did
Right.
you graduate?
Bro, I didn't graduate till I hit prison. I didn't get my GED till 2018 in prison, in the joint. I finally got forced into getting my GED, but it's something I wanted to do for a while. And after doing that, you know, I took the steps to going into college. So I'm probably about 20 units away from my AA degree, you know what I'm saying? So it's cool. I try to make the best of my time in the joint. And yeah, I definitely got my GED in prison. You know, it's sad it took that long, but yeah, I'm proud to say I got it.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah,
For sure.
graduating was a priority, but getting kicked out of different schools and bouncing around and being on my own, I was limited to those resources. You know what I'm saying? A steady house, just being in school. Period. Being in juvenile hall so much, you miss too much time. You know what I'm saying?
Now, after you get kicked out of school, do you ever try to get a regular job or try to go straight?
Oh yeah, I've had regular jobs my whole life actually. My first job was at 14 at a piano shop in Downey, basically refurbishing pianos. All the way, I've as a teenager, I've worked every fast food you can think of, and basically a bunch of warehouse jobs. I've always had jobs, you know. It wasn't the job situation. It was just always me being in the streets, being in the neighborhood, and when you're dabbling in those things, you know, you're bound to get caught sometime. So for those times I got caught, you know what I'm saying? It took me off the streets and into the system, you know what I'm saying? So I spent more time probably in the system than on the street to be able to work. I think I've never worked a job for more than 6-7 months, because that's usually the time span I'll be out. Be out 6-7 months and get locked up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I've had numerous jobs throughout my life. I've always tried to work, you know.
Growing up, man, you know, your dad being from your neighborhood, you know, does he like so he never tries to like take you under his wing or anything at that point and kind of school you? You still had to learn everything from your homies?
So when I would get busted and go to juvenile hall, county, whatever, he would give me little pep talks like, if you're gonna move a certain way, move with wisdom, move in calculated steps, but never like, come on, son, we're gonna go kick it in the hood, or never nothing like that. Me and my dad's relationship was always more of a homeboy than a father type, but on that same note, we never did the father son type things or had those father son talks. You know what I'm saying? It was just when I get busted, I'll call and tap in and be like, stay strong, mijo, and I'll be at your court date. You know what I'm saying? And O's up, you know, seven's up. That was about as close as we got uh, to under the wing. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, nah, really, it was a constant battle of trying to deter me from it. You know what I'm saying? But kind of at the same time, like, fuck it. Like, you're there, you're in it. Like, what can I say at this point? You know what I'm saying? I don't think he ever wanted to feel the guilt of kind of inviting me under his wing or directing me to do certain things. But when I would go to jail for doing certain shit, he would tell me, like, you know, you fucked up doing this and this and this, or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Just to let me know these are your missteps. You know what I'm saying? But never guiding me beforehand, like, hey, do it this way or do, you know what I'm saying? So I can't say he tried to take me under the wing. It was just trying to deter me from it. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, that's about as close as it got to it.
What do you think was like one of the wildest situations in Compton that you could talk about?
I there's certain things, you know, I can't touch on, but what I could, we were young. It was me and four of my homies. He would sneak his car out late night, and I had a lick plan to go hit a little spot. It didn't turn out that we hit the spot, so I had something else lined up, which was we're young, we're 16. We had some little hoochies lined up, and we went to go pick these hoochies up. They stayed in Downey. We're in Compton. So the homie takes his mom's Explorer. We're driving on our way to go pick these little hoochies up, thinking we're grown, having a good time. We scoop them up. They want to see Compton. They've never been to Compton, but they live close. So they're like, can we go? And for us, we're like, what do you want to do out there? Like, I mean, we're there every day. So for us, it's like, what's in Compton? But it's something they wanted to do, I guess, to say that they hung out there. So we're like, yeah, where do you want to go? They're like, let's go to your hood. You sure? Yeah, okay, let's roll. So it's about 12 o'clock at night. We're making our way from Downey back to the hood, back to Compton. As we're getting on the on-ramp, these females are wilding out. They're the same age as us, so, you know, we're all thinking we're grown, having a good time, sneaking out, whatever. They're giving the homie a lap dance right next to me. I'm in the seat in the back. I'm in the back row on the right by the window. My homie's in the middle. I have another homie on this way. There's a female in the passenger seat, which is the one with the driver, which is my other homie. And all females in the back. So this female's giving the homie a lap dance. Mind you, they're sitting on all of our laps, right? Except the one in the front. But the three in the back are sitting on all of our lap. We each have a girl on our lap. We're driving. My homie's going on the on-ramp. We're getting on the on-ramp for the 91. Boom, we're going. As we're going, it's kind of like a hill going up. As we're going, the homie in the front who's driving, ain't nobody sitting on his lap. So he's looking in the back, trying to see what's going on back there, being nosy, you know. I see his little head poking around the mirror. And I'm looking too, like the homie's getting a lap dance, she's getting into it. I'm recording with my phone. And for that split second, the homie went like this, who's driving. He looked back to see what was going on in the back. Everyone's going, woo, making all type of noise, you know. So as he's doing that, he's not feeling it. Mind you, we're faded. We smoke, we drank, we're having a good time. He starts accelerating, going up the on-ramp, but we're slowly guiding to the left. He doesn't know it because he's going like this. So naturally, he's going like this. And we're going slowly to the left, probably going about 30, 40 miles per hour on this on-ramp. And all of this happens in a matter of like 15 seconds. As he goes like this, without us knowing, one of the girls in the passenger seat, she's like, "Fool, you're gonna hit the side divider." So he looks. Before he looks, he's noticing now he's going left and automatically yanks the steering wheel to the right. Well, we're already hit. As soon as he yanked it to the right, it was like we're already on top of the curve. So when he yanked it to the right, the car basically skidded, went like this, and started rolling. So I have my seatbelt on. You know what I'm saying? My homie's driver had his seatbelt on. I don't think any of the females had their seatbelt on because one was in the trunk in the back of the Explorer. Well, another one was in the front when she was sitting in the back. You feel me? They're all on top of the roof. We're upside down. So my homeboy, mind you, he stole his mom's car. He took it out. We joyrided it. We went to go do that. The car's flipped over on the freeway. It's like 12 o'clock at night. It's not too much traffic, but there still is cars on the road. So as we're upside down, the females are shook. They're crying. They're freaking out. Me and my homies are laughing because we're realizing like, oh shit, you just flipped your mom's car. But at the same time, we're cool. We're all good. Like we're all cool. So we take our seatbelts off. We go to the side of the road, and my homie's like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "Grab the keys, grab a flathead screwdriver, and jam it in the ignition. Get your ass home. Some way, somehow, when they figure out this car is stolen, they're gonna notify your mom. It got stolen. Wipe everything down, and you know what I'm saying." So we ended up all fucking running back to Compton. The females are like, "What do we do?" We're like, "Fuck." At that time, there's no Uber. There's none of that Lyft or none of that, you know? There ain't none of that. So we all get on, bro. We all go our separate ways, and we tell them the same thing. Like, we're all teenagers, basically. We all got to get our asses somewhere before the cops get here. So we all end up shaking. But yeah, we flipped his mom's, well, he flipped his mom's car. We rolled over. That's the only car accident, knock on wood, you know, that I've ever been in my life. And that was probably one of the most craziest times for me as a teenager growing up that I can speak about, you know, as far as that transpired, you know. The homie flipping his car, even to this day, we still, hey, remember you flipped your mom's car? Remember those high nuts? Like, whatever happened to them. But yeah, bro, that was one of the coolest little moments / wildest moments I could think of.
Did he get caught? Did you guys get away with it?
No, he reported the car stolen, and they bought that story. But down the line, he ended up, like, I think telling his older sister, and his older sister got mad at him one time and exposed him. Like, hey, you remember that? Well, no, he actually stole the car with his homies. So eventually he did get caught up, but he was already older. So, you know, for a little while they didn't talk to him. But yeah, after that, everything was good, you know?
Okay, well, eventually you catch a big case.
Right.
I think you're 18.
Nah, at this point, I was already 23, but the case was an old case that basically got found out about later. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so how did all that happen? How'd you get caught up?
Well, basically, I'm gonna redact it as best I can verbally. For what I can and can't say, the case it's happened, so you know they can't come back and charge me again for anything. But basically, what transpired, what the accusations were that two dudes ended up getting shot, and that the shooter was me and my homeboy allegedly. That's what they were alleging, and the way we actually were even caught up in this mix was one night we're chilling with my homies in Carson, and I gotta go to work the next day, and it's like 1 a.m. And I told my homeboys who were there, if you guys need a ride, we gotta go right now, because I got like a few hours to get some rest before work. So they're like, all right, cool. One of my homeboys decides to bring a burner, a strap, without basically telling anybody, you know. Just, that's some regular shit for us, you know. We pass, you do that when you know, you guys are young from a neighborhood, you pass burners around, you know what I'm saying? Basically, I get pulled over late night, driving through Paramount by the sheriffs, and I'm thinking, I don't have a license, it's the sheriff. If you don't got a strap or dope, they let you go. They really don't care, you know? So I see it's a sheriff, and I'm like, cool. Like, I'm gonna have no license and all that. But other than that, cool. Like, well, it turns out when that sheriff, with one sheriff in the car, pulls me over, takes me out of the car. He's like, what's up, man? Probation. At the time, I was on probation. I'm like, I'm on probation. He's like, you got any guns or dope? Nah, there ain't nothing there. He's like, all right, cool. What are you on probation for? I tell him. He's like, all right, cool. Well, look, if everything comes out clean, I'm not even going to tow your car. You're good. But I am going to let your probation officer that we interacted. What he wants to do with it is up to him. All right, cool. So I'm in the back seat of the sheriff, and he's going out to pull out my homeboy. When he pulls out my homeboy, he other units are already there. So he pulls my homeboy out. My homeboy goes in another unit, and my homegirl's in the back seat, and they put her in another unit. And basically, they come back to my car, and with his gloves, he's holding a strap, and he's like, I thought you said you were clean, man. And he's showing me the strap, and I'm looking at it like, hell nah. Like, you motherfuckers planted that shit, you know? And I'm sure it sounds hella far-fetched, like everybody says that, you know? But really, in my eyes, I'm like, the fuck? Like, I know this, like, my car is clean, you know? Well, anyways, I guess what happened was it came to light later that my homie brought the strap without my knowledge. And basically the strap was put in my glove box while I was in the other cop car. You know what I'm saying? Which caused some rift between us because, you know, for the obvious reasons. If that's the case, you should have got out around with it, or you should have told me. We could have went on a little high-speed pursuit and tossed it, you know? But based on that, we get busted for that. We go in for a strap. My homegirl gets a DA reject off the dribble. She kept it solid. She didn't say nothing. Everybody kept it solid, bro. Everything was cool. We ended up getting a county lid, which was time in the county for a strap. During that time that we're busted, we make it out within 4 months. LA County, you're going to, you know, off a year in the county, you'll do like 3 to 4 months. You know, that's LA County for you. So we end up doing like 4 months in the county. We get out. We're told to check in with probation. You know, it's another thing we're on probation for. Well, me, once I get out, my thing has always been, once I'm out, I'm out. I don't do parole, I don't do probation. You know, once I did my time, I'm cool. I'm not checking in. I'm not peeing for you. I'm not doing none of that. And of course, it lands me back in there. That was my thinking before, but basically, I never checked in with probation. So one day when he goes to check in with probation, he gets snatched up. So once he gets snatched up, I remember I found out I'm in the hood chilling at my homegirl Wet Eye's house. And it's me, my homie Criminal, Popeye, we're chilling. I ended up crashing out there. Somewhere around 3 in the morning, my Uncle Turtle's blowing up my phone. And I don't realize till about 6 in the morning I wake up, I check my phone. And I hit my uncle like, what's up? Why are you guys blowing me up? I seen like a gang of people blowing me up. What's up? My phone died. He's like, you didn't hear? I'm like, hear what? And right when he said that, my heart dropped. I'm like, damn, what happened? And he's like, fool, they're looking for you. And we always play like that. So I'm like, shut up, fool. And he's like, nah, fool, where you at? And I told him, I'm right here in the hood. I'm right here with woo. And he's telling me like, fool, get the fuck out of there. I'm not playing with you. They just snatched the dopey. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. I called the homie's baby mom. And she's like, yeah, they snatched them up. They showed a picture of you. And they said they're looking for you too. And I was like, nah, no way. She's like, yeah, they even said render. I was like, nah, no way. Anyways, I ended up leaving. As soon as they told me that, I got out of Compton. And basically, I was in the city of Baldwin Park, just basically hiding out. And knowing that he was busted for that, which was my homeboy, and knowing they're looking for me too, you know, it was kind of hard as far as staying out of the streets, staying out of the way, because I know I'm on the run. So I think I was on the run for about like 5 months until the U.S. Marshals end up pulling up on me at basically some female's house that I was staying at, and they were watching her house for a while. And unbeknownst to me, they pull up one day in a bunch of sedans and unmarked cars and regular clothes, and yeah, they pulled up on me and basically told me to get down. And I could have ran back towards the house, but there was children in the house, and I wasn't gonna further disrespect the house than I already did by having the U.S. Marshals pull up. So basically, I went out and they arrested me, and I remember they told me, I'm like, well, why are the U.S. Marshals coming for me? And he's like, oh, you got a gun case. And I did have a gun case, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. In a way, I wasn't as nervous, but I still know what I was on the run for. And I'm like, damn, do they not know? Because why wouldn't they just tell me? They got me. But it wasn't until I got to the station and they printed out my charges and I seen 3 attempted murders that I was like, oh, shit, this is that shit. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro,
So that didn't have nothing to do with your gun case then?
No, that gun case, they ran the ballistics on that gun. Months later, it comes out an attempted murder.
Oh.
Yeah, and 3 attempted murders. So they tagged me and my homeboy for it.
What?
Yeah, U.S. Marshals pulled up, picked me up, drove me from Baldwin Park, and like 4 F-150s, felt like the president, 2 in the front, 3 in the back, like all crazy, like having the PD follow them. And yeah, all the way to the station. And once they printed them charges, I already knew. It was, you know.
So, I mean, you did your time for this case,
Right, it's done.
So, I mean, besides the gun, did they have any other evidence on you?
So, apparently, where they're saying this transpired, there's a gas station. Apparently, this gas station picks up a quick view of a car that looks like the car I'm driving past the gas station. And they have a witness, which was a female who was standing allegedly with the other gang members, who said that she seen somebody that looked like me run up to the crowd of dudes, and that 2 dudes ended up shot, and that she was there the whole time, but nothing happened to her. You know what I'm saying? And that she could basically identify. And not only that, well, that particular gang member circled me in a 6-pack. When eventually they pull up the ballistics and they take me, they tell him, look, is this the dude? And he's like, yeah, that's him. And he circled me and wrote a quick statement, and yeah, it came to prelim and everything on me. His other homie kept it G. His other homie was like, I don't know. I don't know nothing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't cooperating. The other dude, he was determined to make sure that the cops knew that supposedly it was me and my homeboy. And yeah, that's what happened. That's how the ballistics and the gun all tied into the case and fell on top of me and my homeboy.
But now you're in county jail. You're fighting this case.
Right.
And you end up right next to somebody from the area where this allegedly happened.
Right.
And what happens there?
So basically, LA County, it's not divided by race like prison is. You can only sell with Hispanics that are from down south. If you're from up north, you only sell up with Hispanics that are from up north. Crips with the Crips, Bloods with the Bloods, etc. In LA County, it ain't like that. In LA County, if you're an active walking the line on a GP in county, then you're going to be in the cell with blacks, whites, homies, everything. It doesn't matter. As long as you and all those individuals in your cell are active, you're going to be in the cell with them. So I can go in the cell with 3 Crips from Compton in a 4-man cell, you know? And the politics won't allow them to run me in the cell, or it's going to be a riot. But, you know, who knows if maybe one of my homeboys did something to their homeboys or vice versa, and one of us feel played by that, then you're going to do what you do. Aside from that, though, basically I ended up in a dorm. Now, in this dorm in Supermax, basically it's a LA County jail facility. It's called G-Riding. Everyone has their assigned bunks. Some of these bunks are not assigned by race. We only can bunk next to each other or with each other. So basically when it's count time, you go to your assigned bunk. It can be a black bunk. It could be a white bunk. It can be whatever, whoever's assigned there. But basically where I was assigned, I wasn't sleeping. But where I was assigned, the dude on top of me was a dude who got shot's cousin. So basically, I'm going through my paperwork. I'm getting ready. I was already in the county like 2 years fighting my case. And basically, every chance I got, I was doing my due diligence to help myself in my case and doing my paperwork, going through my minutes of everything that's said in court. And I ran across these pictures at the moment that we're doing count time, and I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I know where this dude's from, you know, when I come to the area out of respect because it's mostly blacks in the area. What's up, homie? I'm Render from Compton. This is where I bunk, you know. You guys straight? You guys need to put anything away? Nah, we're good. We're good. Go ahead. Chill out. All right, cool. So it just so happens, I already knew where he was from. I don't know what compelled me to hit him with that question, but basically I grabbed the picture from prelim of him in the hospital, and they're showing his gunshot wound, and I just shot in the dark and said, hey, Holmes, you know this fool? You ever seen this fool out there on the streets? And he was like, I'm showing him to where I'm laying in it's triple bunks in LA County. So I'm in the middle. He's on top. So I just get the paper and I just kind of go like this. So I can't see his facial expression, but I hear that he's quiet. He hasn't said something. And I knock on the top bunk. And I know he's looking. I could just feel it, but I'm not saying nothing, you know? So I get up and I see him looking. I see his eyes and I can tell, okay, there's some recognition in there. And basically it turns out that was his cousin. And right then and there that he explained that, I just showed him all the paperwork. And he just couldn't believe it. He was like, man, that's my blood cousin. Like, and I told him, look, obviously you're gonna feel some type of way that your relative. But in the world of gangbanging, that's how it is, you know? You get one of mine, I get one of yours, whatever. It goes back and forth. But it's all business. You know what I'm saying? And I explained that to him. It's strictly business, ain't nothing personal. And I mean, aside from that, he's ratting. So that there's no part of the game that will allow that. So I show him the paperwork, the statements, the whole 9 yards. And I tell him, look, I'm ready to go wobble up in trial, bro. They're not offering me nothing without the L. Like, whatever you can do for me, I'll pay you to either make sure this dude don't go to court or to recant his statement, do whatever. But just help me and I'll compensate you. And he was like, man, fuck the compensation on the GP. Like, that's my cousin and he's snitching. I'm going to help you. So he's like, only thing I need from you is get my old lady up here for a visit. I said, all right, cool. Where's your old lady at? Long Beach. All right, cool. Say less. I'll have my girl pick her up. We'll bring her up. And basically that was his mouthpiece. So when you go to visit, it's just a glass window. You jump on the phone. So basically I took all my paperwork, or the most important 5 pieces of paper, which was his picture, his signature, in the statement he wrote, all that. And he put it all to the window when the time was right and kept showing his girl. And then on the last picture he showed, there was directives. And I explained to Mahaina, these are the directives to give to her when you're in the car with her alone. And it worked out to where 2 days later, I got confirmation that everything was good. And not only that, his girl, we ended up separating. He ended up bouncing to another spot in the county, but we exchanged information. So his girl told the female I was with at the time, homeboy said this to relay this to you. And basically it was, here's his Instagram, here's his Facebook. He's not going to court, and he's banned from the hood. All right, cool. So I told my co-defendant we're going to trial because everything that was being offered was with the L on the back of it. So the lowest they got to was 29 years to life. And for me, anything with life, I might as well gamble with it. You know what I'm saying? If you're giving me 29 to life, I might as well just roll the dice. So basically, once I went to court, actually scratch that, before, as this conversation is transpiring, the dude who sleeps in the assigned bunk next to us is side busting. He's hearing what we're saying. And it turns out the same dude who's a victim on my case was the shooter on his case, allegedly. And basically had popped this other dude next to me's homeboy. So this particular dude who was on the stand telling on me, he was a shooter out there. So basically, he was a shooter in this dude's case. He was a victim in my case. So
didn't they catch him lying too?
So on the paperwork for homeboy next to me, his preliminary paperwork, they ask him on the stand, "Are you a gang member?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm from blah 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 crit." So on my paperwork on the prelim, they ask him, "Are you a gang member?" And he says, "No, I don't associate with gangs." And basically that statement on my paperwork attached with his paperwork, we got him for perjury on the stand. So right then and there, it discredited his whole story. So after presenting my lawyer with that, along with the perjury, Instagram and Facebook posts he had online with his homies and guns and all type of bullshit like that, we got him for the perjury on the stand, and the DA was like, "Look, let's skip the trial. I'll give you 12 years with 85. That's the best it's gonna get. Like, I don't need the witness. I can still bang you without the witness. Like, I got you. I got the gun. I got this. I got." And she had a good little deck. And it felt like the best play was to run with that 12 with 85. Out of that 12, I did 10. And yeah, that turned out to be the best play it was. I mean,
Yeah.
we were ready to go to trial and risk the rest of our life anyway. So that 12 was sweet. I was actually happy and very grateful. Signed a deal with a smile, and I felt actually happy. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was about to be away for a cool little minute, but I also knew I got a date. I got something to look forward to, you know? And it's a stretch. And it was a stretch, and it was a hell of a journey. But I made it out.
Your homeboy too.
My homeboy too, actually, yeah. My homeboy too. I'm pretty sure he's very grateful for the way things played out, you know. His contribution was he was having his girl pay a witch, they call her a bruja. He was having his girl was into that type of shit, do spells and shit like that on the victim and the snitch. And they're paying her, and she's cracking eggs over a fucking dead chicken, talking about, "You guys are gonna get 6 years. Don't trip. I cracked this egg on this chicken, and I put it outside this railroad track, so it's good. They're blocked." I don't know how she described it, but it was some way outlandish type shit. But I know he was very grateful, you know, that we ended up getting that time. Thankfully that, you know, by the grace of God, that he put all the pieces in the same place at that same time. Because what are the odds? You know what I'm saying? What are the odds? LA County's huge.
That's some crazy odds. That's
Right?
definitely nuts.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
know at least one of my prayers hit. During that time, I had also lost my pops while fighting life in the county. So, you know, I'm knowing that a lot of that was him looking out for me too, you know, putting all these pieces together.
Okay, for sure, man.
Right.
Well, you mentioned rap. So around 16, you start rapping.
Right. So I've always kind of dabbled in it. 16, I kind of really like got a biting a bug for it, and yeah, from there on, just never really gave it 100% until basically before I caught my case, when I was meeting with that producer dude, and yeah, it didn't work out due to me being incarcerated and fighting life, but yeah, things were looking real good at one point. You know what I'm saying? I have a bunch of shit on YouTube it's old, you know, but yeah, I recently, since I've been out, I probably dropped like 4 songs, and you know, now with the time and what I learned from this journey, I try to apply it to the music now, and you know, I'm seeing where it takes me. You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm actually applying myself and giving 100% to it, you know, I'm trying to see where it takes me now.
Okay. Well, what all you plan on releasing? You got music,
Yeah,
mixtapes,
I got
albums.
something new that I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? It'll be dropping next week, and basically, I'm just working on a mixtape right now, just to get everything. I got journal stacked from being in prison 10 years of just different shit, bro, of different errors, of different journeys, of different struggles you go through being in prison that long. You go through storms, and some of those storms last longer than others. You know what I'm saying? The things that happen, the things you partake in, and the person you become being in in there with the wolves, basically it gets, I kind of unleash it all in the music. And those journals is every chapter of the storm that I've been through, basically. So I want to slowly release every little bit. You know, I got a lot that I want to drop, but at the appropriate time when, you know, when everybody's ready for it, basically.
Have you did any features? Are you trying to get any features? You working with
Right now
anybody?
I've been focused kind of like on my solo, just doing me. You know what I'm saying? If I was to do a feature, I would love to fuck with Peso. You know, his little stilo. I fuck with it. I like it. You know what I'm saying? Everything that transpired with Money Sway, that would have been cool. And Player, he's from my area. You know, we consider certain cities that are they're in the vicinity of a South Side, or if you're from West Side LA, you got the West Side car, the East Side car, the East Lows car, whatever. You know. So we're from the South Side. The cities in our vicinity, we're the South Side. We're on the South Side of LA. So he's not far. He's South Side too. And, you know, it was a tragedy what happened to him, but I would have really loved to fuck with him too.
Yeah, Swade, he had a lot going, for sure.
Yeah. It ain't no joke, you know. That rap shit and politics are two different things, you know. It's a fine line that you shouldn't get crossed, and a lot of people dabble and play both sides of it, and that's cool if that's your thing. But if you're not really doing the shit you're rapping about and you're in that life and you plan on going to prison due to the life you're living, you're going to get tested on that yard, you know, and they're going to want to see if you're about everything that you're rapping about. And if everything you're saying in them raps are upholding on the yard to the integrity of the person you're portraying yourself to be. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful when dabbling with those things. You know, his story, it's upsetting, but it's also like when you're dabbling in that world, a lot of bullshit happens. A lot of bad calls and things are made by individuals, and you know, I feel for the man. He was barely kicking off his career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, he definitely had a bright future, man.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a trip to see these individuals blowing up. And some of them I knew from the past, you know, and it's a trip to see them now, you know, and more power to them, you know. But also, you know, it's a lot of fools who portray to be something they're not, and you know what I'm saying? A motherfucker knows you since you were, you know, before you got all the tattoos and this and all of that, you know what I'm saying? But it's a trip to see individuals now, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's also a fine line. Beware when you're, you know, dabbling with politics and putting shit on music that's probably not intended for everybody's ears, you know what I'm saying? So it's a fine line you got to respect, and you got to learn that's there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so as far as the features, you know, those are definitely some cats I would have loved to fuck with, and I would still love to fuck with, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro, I'm open and to somebody, you know, tapping in with me also if you know, if the level is there, you know, and we both fuck with each other's stilo and what we're saying in our bars. Hell yeah, by all means, you know what I'm saying? I'm 100% with that.
All right, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Well, when's the next video or project dropping?
So the last project I dropped was Playground Rules. It's on YouTube right now. The video is supposed to be shot within the next 2 weeks. So that'll be the video. The song's already released on YouTube, and yeah, bro, from there on out, you know, continue to work on this mixtape, get in these podcasts, and you know, get my name out there, get the exposure, you know. After 10 years, it's time. It's time to start scratching the surface, you know.
All right, that's what's up, man. Well, I appreciate you coming through.
You already know. I appreciate the time, and you know, reaching out for the opportunity. I appreciate you. I thank you. You know what I'm saying? Good looking.
No problem, for sure, man. Well, good luck with everything.
Appreciate you, man.
For sure. What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.